It's no longer a political disagreement. It is a constitutional moment. At 4 a.m., hours after the assembly election dates were announced on Sunday, 15th March, and before the elections had been notified, these are the assembly elections in Bengal, the Election Commission ordered a sweeping administrative purge in West Bengal. Chief Secretary, Home Secretary, Director General of Police, Kolkata Police Commissioner, and ADG Law and Order, the senior most law and order officer, were all removed in one stroke. 5 of the most critical pillars of the state administration were removed at 4 a.m., not during office hours, not in the day, but in the dead of night. Today, at this moment, more than 50 senior officials of Bengal, including district magistrates and superintendents of police, have all been transferred by the Election Commission. Not routine, not neutral, nothing but raw, centralized flaunting of power at a politically sensitive pre-election moment by the so-called election watchdog, the Election Commission. The message is unmistakable. Bengal will be disciplined. Bengal's administrative machinery will be crippled. And in Bengal, the Election Commission will act not as a neutral umpire, but as an enforcer. Bengal is the target. Why? Because TMC ruled Bengal has repeatedly defeated the ruling BJP in a series of elections post-2012. Now the BJP-EC combine wants to defeat Mamata Banerjee at any cost. Under Article 324, the Election Commission is entrusted with the superintendence, direction and control of elections. But that power is not absolute. It is conditioned by constitutional morality, federal balance, and judicial interpretation. The Supreme Court has repeatedly clarified the limits and purpose of this power. In PUCL versus Union of India 2003, the court held that the right to vote is an expression protected under Article 19(1)(a), and citizens have a right to obtain information about political candidates. Association for Democratic Reforms ADR versus Union of India 2002 placed transparency at the heart of elections. And in the Anup Baranwal versus Union of India 2023 case, the apex court warned against executive capture of the Election Commission, emphasizing that independence is the lifeblood of electoral democracy. This landmark judgment was overridden by the Election Commissioner and Other Election Commissioners Act 2023, by which the Narendra Modi government removed the Chief Justice from the selection panel of election commissioners and replaced the Chief Justice with a cabinet minister. Now, in a democracy, perception is not incidental. Perception is everything. The credibility of elections rests not only on fairness, but on the public belief in that fairness. When that belief erodes, the damage is not procedural, it is existential. The doctrine is clear. Free and fair elections conducted by an independent and neutral body form part of the basic structure of India's constitution. Basic structure of India's constitution. It is against this doctrine that Gyanesh Kumar's tenure must be judged. And Gyanesh Kumar, the Chief Election Commissioner, fails that test. 193 MPs have signed a notice seeking the impeachment of CEC Gyanesh Kumar. The motion is yet to be introduced in Parliament, but the motion has been signed. The reasons are glaring. The CEC's mistakes have been egregious. We are not expressing routine dissent. We are ringing an institutional alarm bell. The 4 a.m. purge is not just an isolated incident. It is part of a pattern of coercive intervention, particularly in Bengal and across opposition-ruled states. It raises a fundamental question: under what legal standards are such sweeping removals justified? Where is the recorded reasoning? Where is the test of necessity and proportionality? Extraordinary power demands extraordinary justification. None has been offered. Instead, what we see is arbitrariness, precisely what Article 14 of the Constitution forbids. There are other reasons why Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar should be impeached. One is the manner in which the special intensive revision exercise, this most important reason, has been conducted. In 2002, the SIR process took a full year. In 25-26, it has been rushed through in months. What should have been a routine update of electoral rolls has been transformed into a mass exercise in administrative suspicion and striking terror in people. Lakhs of citizens have been deleted, placed on logical discrepancy lists, and now on adjudication lists. Doubts have been cast on individuals like Nobel laureate Amartya Sen, former Bengal Chief Secretary IAS officer Nandini Chakraborty, Bengal Minister for Women and Child Development Dr. Shashi Panja, Bengal star cricketer Rajya Ghose and Mohammad Shami. All of them have been put on adjudication lists. Elderly voters with mobility and health concerns have been dragged across vast distances to hearings. The SIR exercise has become a regime of documentary terror, demanding impossibly obscure papers, dismissing, then accepting the Aadhaar card, arbitrarily dismissing examination admit cards, leaving citizens trapped in a maze of shifting rules, uncertainty, and fear about their right to exist on the rolls. Burdened with inhuman pressures and impossible deadlines, many booth level officers, BLOs, were pushed to the brink and died by suicide. The death toll has risen to over 100 in the SIR exercise, among them BLOs, citizens, and the elderly. The EC has blood on its hands. The constitutional violation is stark. The burden of proof has been inverted. Citizens are being asked to prove their citizenship and eligibility to vote. This directly contradicts the principle laid down in the PUCL case that voting is a constitutional expression. It is not a privilege to be conditionally granted by any entity. The Election Commission is not a citizenship tribunal. It cannot assume powers it does not have. SIR has ceased to be electoral revision. It has become disenfranchisement through administrative design and administrative intimidation, masquerading as procedure. Through the brutal SIR process, we did not hear a single word of empathy or sympathy from the Election Commission, the constitutional body that is supposed to protect and safeguard citizens. Equally troubling is the complete breakdown of dialogue between the Election Commission and elected political parties. Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has written several letters to Gyanesh Kumar. All of them have gone unanswered. Does a three-time chief minister, a senior stateswoman, not even deserve an official answer? The Election Commission is not a sovereign island. It is a constitutional body that must command trust across the political spectrum. Yet, under Gyanesh Kumar, opposition parties have been systematically excluded, dismissed, and even ridiculed. And there has been no meaningful consultation, no effort by the Election Commission to build consensus with opposition parties. The message is stark. The opposition simply does not matter. When an opposition leader raised anomalies in electoral rolls, he was told to give his complaints in writing under oath and stop spreading lies. Is this the language the Election Commission should use? The Election Commission is a referee. It is not a prosecutor. Its authority derives from impartiality, not intimidation and striking terror in people's hearts. Tone matters in public life. Institutional authority demands restraint, dignity, and balance. Former Chief Election Commissioner TN Seshan was feared, he was formidable, and he was famously outspoken, but he was never partisan. He did not speak differently to the government and differently to the opposition. In contrast, Gyanesh Kumar's public posture has often been marked by a certain cavalier disdain, even disrespect towards the opposition. He's not afraid to be partisan. Another important reason in the case for the dismissal of the CEC, Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his election rallies across poll-bound Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Assam, and Bengal on 14th March. 24 hours after the rallies were concluded, the Election Commission announced election dates, almost as if it was waiting for the Prime Minister to complete his travels for the Election Commission to announce dates. The election calendar itself deepens these concerns. When opposition strong states are all compressed into single-phase elections, all states in which the Congress, for example, is a contender, Assam, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, are being held on the very same day. The perception of bias here thus becomes unavoidable. The question arises, does the government, the BJP government, provide the election timetable to the Election Commission according to the campaign schedule of the Prime Minister? Are election dates announced according to the convenience of the Prime Minister? Another matter of concern. Kumar was member of the Election Commission during the 2024 general elections. In this election, the Election Commission's conduct fell alarmingly short. Narendra Modi's speeches during the 2024 campaign often ventilated deplorable hate speech. particularly his infamous "they will snatch away your Mangal Sutra" line in Rajasthan. Now, under the Model Code of Conduct, such statements warranted immediate scrutiny and a firm notice and censure. Yet the Election Commission's response was conspicuously absent. Beyond an innocuously worded letter to then BJP party president JP Nadda, not a single notice was sent to Modi, not a single word of censure was given. Silence in these moments is not neutrality, it is complicity. This silence is also constitutionally significant. It violates the guarantee of equality under Article 14. The manner of Gyanesh Kumar's appointment further undermines confidence. In the Anup Baranwal case, the Supreme Court sought to insulate the Election Commission from executive dominance. Gyanesh Kumar's appointment, instead of being transparent and consultative, appeared opaque and hurried, overriding the objections of the leader of the opposition. Gyanesh Kumar's prior proximity to the political executive, having served as Cooperation Secretary under Home Minister Amit Shah, raises questions about the independence of Gyanesh Kumar. Institutions are not judged only by what they do, but also by how they are seen to be constituted. The court has repeatedly warned against the concentration of power. Institutional independence cannot survive if appointments are politically curated, if politics determines appointments. The Election Commission's decision to limit CCTV footage retention to 50 days is equally suspect. In the ADR case, the Supreme Court emphasized transparency as foundational to electoral integrity. Curtailing access to video records undermines that principle. The justification offered by Gyanesh Kumar to not share CCTV footage of polling booths, invoking concerns about our mothers and sisters, is not only weak but evasive. Why does gender of a voter matter? Women voters are constitutional actors. They are not feminized rhetorical shields for opacity. Kumar infantilized women voters and used them as an excuse to avoid accountability. This is shocking. The public behavior of the CEC also raises questions. On his recent visit to Kolkata, Gyanesh Kumar emerged from the airport waving theatrically to crowds and then proceeded to visit religious sites during an official tour. These are simply not appropriate acts given the election context. Constitutional authority demands discipline and distance. In a surcharged political atmosphere, optics matter because they shape public trust. Taken together, Gyanesh Kumar's actions represent a systematic erosion of constitutional guarantees. Article 324, the duties of the Election Commission, has been distorted into an instrument of control rather than neutrality. Article 14, the right to equality, was violated through arbitrariness and selective enforcement. Article 19(1)(a), freedom of speech and expression, is undermined by placing suspicion on the voter and denying the right to constitutional expression of the vote. Basic structure principles have been weakened by institutional bias. Gyanesh Kumar is not guilty of only administrative excess. He has been a constitutional failure. Gyanesh Kumar is a constitutional failure. Impeachment is not a partisan tool nor a weapon of personal vendetta. It is a constitutional remedy invoked when an office bearer's conduct threatens the integrity of the institution they occupy. Impeachment is not political theater, but a move to reinstall democracy's guardrails. The Republic cannot function with a compromised election commission and a compromised umpire. Elections cannot be credible if the referee is in question bent on demolishing the level playing field. And democracy cannot survive if the voter is treated as a suspect. Gyanesh Kumar's tenure has simply raised too many questions, triggered too many doubts, crossed too many lines. The cost of inaction is too high. Therefore, constitutionally and unequivocally, Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar must go.